Hey there, fellow van enthusiast. Welcome to my channel. I'm the van teacher, Jason Sickle, and today we're diving into a topic that's essential for anyone planning a van build: budgeting. Whether you're converting a van into a cozy tiny home on wheels or gearing up for a full-fledged adventure camper van, having a solid budget is key to a successful project. So grab a notebook and let's break down how to budget for the various components of a van build. Before we begin, I wanted to explain my personal budgeting style and how I organized this video. My budget helped me plan and organize expenses for the hundreds of purchasing decisions that I made when building my van. It was a constantly evolving and personalized process. What you are watching is a real and somewhat unedited process. So remember, your budget and how you keep track of spending is unique to your van build and should be a reflection of your organizational style. Hopefully, you will find the details presented here to be useful while you plan your build. So here we go. This video is divided into 4 key sections. I'll cover finding and purchasing your van and how to select the right vehicle for your project. Creating a budget spreadsheet for you to set overall budget goals and breaking down your expenses. Vehicle modification expenses, where I will share the cost associated with adding the vehicle options I needed but were not included with the stock van. And lastly, a detailed cost breakdown of all the major systems for your van. Throughout this video, I will share specific information about the products I purchased, and I have included links to those products in the description below. You can save yourself a lot of time by checking out the equipment I chose to use for my van. Arguably the most crucial step in your van build journey is finding and purchasing the right van. When it comes to choosing the right van, you need to consider a few key factors to ensure it aligns with your conversion project. So let's break it down. Consider how much space you need for your lifestyle and plans. Are you aiming for a compact and nimble setup, or do you require a more spacious van for extended trips or full-time living? Assess your needs and choose a size that fits your vision. You can generally find vans in compact, regular, and extended lengths, as well as short, high, and extra high roofs. Of course, your decision will often come down to the purchase price of the van. While the base price of most new vans are similar, their final cost varies considerably based on the many trim levels and options you select. Now, where do you find these vans? The options are vast. Cast a wide net to increase your chances of finding the perfect van. I started my search locally but was disappointed with low inventory and high prices. Opening up my search nationwide gave me all the options I wanted and the bargaining power to get a great price. All I had to do was confirm the details over the phone, buy a one-way plane ticket, and kick off my first road trip back home in my new van. The first step in your budgeting journey is setting some clear goals. Ask yourself, what's my overall budget for this van build? This includes everything from the cost of the van itself to the last decorative touch. Setting a realistic budget will guide your spending decisions. Once you have your total budget, let's break it down into categories. Think about the major components of your van build: insulation, flooring, electrical, plumbing, and so on. Creating categories allows you to allocate funds more efficiently and avoid overspending in one area while neglecting another. Create rows for each category and list out the specific items you'll need. This level of detail will make it easier to track your spending and identify any areas where you might need to adjust your budget. As you can see, my budget came in at just under $20,000. I chose this amount after carefully considering my goals for the van, how I plan to use it, and what I was comfortable spending on it. Knowing that a well-built, quality camper van can be sold for more than what I invest in it, spending this amount was a calculated decision. Next, I will go over some of the major vehicle modifications I made, and then finally I will break down each expense category and what it costs to build the individual components of the van. About 15% of my budget was spent modifying the van's exterior by adding windows and ventilation. Although I was able to find vans already configured how I wanted in one area, they weren't ideal in other areas. I knew that adding windows would be rather straightforward. However, changing the color of the van or the trim level of the infotainment center would be more difficult. Once I found a van that had most of what I wanted, I made a list of modifications that I could add once I bought it. Cutting large openings in a new van is a little intimidating, so I decided to leave this one to the pros. The cost of adding passenger and driver's side windows came to $1,100 each, including installation. I decided not to add rear door windows at this time as they could be added at a later date. The Max Air fan with installation came to $475. In this next section, we're diving deep into one of the most crucial aspects of your van build, the electrical system. First things first, why is the electrical system so important? Well, it's supplying power for everything from charging your devices to running your appliances. You want a system that is reliable and safe, and one that you can depend on for providing all of your power needs. So let's break down the cost associated with building a robust electrical system for your van conversion. First up is energy storage. I decided to go with heated lithium batteries made by Battleborn. The heated version of their standard 100 amp hour battery was only slightly more, but winters here in Colorado can be quite cold. My system requires about 50 to 100 amp hours of battery capacity a day, so I installed two 100 amp hour batteries to be sure I would never have to worry about low batteries and have plenty of room for future upgrades. The batteries were $950 each for a total cost of just under $2,000. In order to safely charge and monitor the batteries, I am using 3 separate charging systems, all of which can be remotely monitored and controlled. This includes a 350 watt roof-mounted solar array, a DC to DC charge controller connected to the van's alternator, and a shore-powered AC battery charger. Tying these charging and monitoring systems together requires specialized components, wires, fuses, and monitors. Here is a list of those components and their total cost. When added to the cost of the 2 batteries, the final cost of the entire electrical system comes to $5,515. Nearly 30% of the van conversion budget. To save some money, I chose not to install a large AC power inverter. My AC power needs are quite small and are met by a 250 watt inverter. My biggest savings come from designing and installing the entire system myself. If you would like more information on how to tackle an electrical project like this, be sure to check out my DIY electrical system video coming soon. Of course, if you don't have the technical know-how and electrical experience, this may be one category you'll want to leave to the pros. Alternatively, a simple all-in-one portable power station can be used with minimal setup and basic wiring skills. A setup like that can supply all of your power needs for between $1,000 and $5,000. Switching gears now to my second costliest budget category, 80/20 aluminum, which I use throughout the van for cabinet construction. As an alternative to traditional wood frame cabinetry, aluminum is lightweight, strong, and easy to assemble. I am happy with how it turned out, but it was much more expensive compared to wood framing, especially when adding up the total cost of the hardware. I was able to find a local supplier and I bought 10-foot long sections of aluminum. Most of the fasteners and hardware I purchased online. Each 10-foot long piece sold for $71 and I needed 19 pieces. That comes to $1,345. The hardware to put it all together, including hinges, drawer slides, brackets, nuts, and bolts, came to $1,500. The total cost for cabinet framing comes to just under $3,000. This, however, does not include the bamboo doors and sides or anything other than just the aluminum cabinet frames. If we add in the other necessary materials to complete the cabinets, the total cost is closer to $4,000. In this section, we're diving into the world of appliances and electronics for your van conversion. These are the items that help turn your van into a tiny home on wheels. Everything from keeping your food fresh to being able to easily cook a meal to sitting back and watching a movie. Here are some of the essential items I bought for my van. First up, the refrigerator. The main consideration here was whether to get a chest style or upright. In my previous van, I had a mid-sized Dometic chest refrigerator. I loved the efficiency, but I did not like digging around for food and having to slide it out of a cabinet every time I opened it. For this van, I chose the Dometic CRX 110 upright refrigerator, which I purchased for $1,227. Next was a gas cooktop. I chose a high-quality Ramblewood 2-burner cooktop, which cost $210. Having a built-in cooktop makes preparing meals fun and easy and makes cooking meals on the road feel like home. A TV and entertainment system can turn your van into a cozy movie night spot and can double as an extended monitor for remote working. I was sure to include a built-in DVD player and plenty of inputs for expandability. The TV set me back $300. I also added a multi-camera system for extra security and safety. You can easily find camera systems like this for under $200. Mine cost $155 for 2 cameras and a DVR monitor, which I mounted in place of the rear view mirror. The total cost in this category comes to just under $2,000. The next category could best be described as wood and wood-related hardware and fasteners. Initially, I created this category to budget for the bamboo plywood I would use for my cabinets. I ended up putting all wood products purchased into this category. So to start, the bamboo plywood ended up costing much more than I expected and was even more difficult to source. Luckily, one of the few suppliers in the US is right here in Colorado. I ended up paying $365 per 4x8 sheet, and I needed 2 sheets, totaling $750. I initially planned to use a CNC wood shop to cut the 27 pieces I needed, but ended up cutting them myself and saved $400. I spent a little over $300 on birch plywood for the electrical and plumbing cabinets, and another $200 on 1/4-inch plywood for the wall and ceiling panels. A few other items were lumped into this category, like the kitchen countertop, an IKEA product for $80, the dinette table, the Lagoon table mount for $200, and the wood and drawer slides for a slide-out bike tray. Those heavy-duty slides cost $134. After adding in all the hardware and fasteners, The wood products category totals up to $2,114. Next up is flooring and wall and ceiling panel fabric. For flooring, I selected Lawn Seal, which is a heavy-duty marine-grade material. 8 feet of that with the required epoxy adhesive cost around $500. For the wall and ceiling panels, I used Marathon fabric and Landau foam. 20 yards of fabric and 10 yards of foam came to nearly $700, including shipping and adhesive. Choosing, acquiring, and installing this type of flooring and fabric was a little complex. I will be putting together a video soon on the process if you would like to learn more. For the garage area under the bed, I used less expensive and easily sourced materials and spent about $300 on outdoor carpet, flooring adhesive, and paints. All in, flooring, walls, and ceiling materials cost just under $1,700. I was able to construct a rather simple, low-profile roof rack for under $700. It took 4 10-foot long sections of black powder-coated 80/20 aluminum that cost $480, and 2 sets of Promaster roof rack adapters for $104 each. See the link below for those hard-to-find roof adapters. Currently, the primary purpose of this roof rack is to provide a mounting place for the solar panels, but future upgrades will include a small rooftop deck and a ladder. That upgrade will cost around $1,000. Compared to other essential camper van systems, freshwater plumbing is one of the least expensive. In this category, I included everything water and plumbing related. I did splurge on a large, deep kitchen sink for $225 and spent some extra money on tools so that I could use all PEX tubing. The basics, like a water tank, $120, a water pump, $75, were quite affordable, and after adding in a little over $200 in pipes and parts, the total plumbing cost came in at $771. Our final budget category is insulation and sound deadening. For sound deadening, I used 80 mil self-adhesive rubber mats and applied the material to most surfaces, as you can see here. The added mass greatly reduces the metallic tin sound and does a great job reducing vibration and rattle. Sound deadening ended up costing around $200. For insulation, I used 3M Thinsulate and purchased a 45-foot long roll that was 60 inches wide. The total cost for the Thinsulate was $400. In addition, I used a couple of different foam products to help isolate the aluminum framing from the van to reduce convective heat loss. For a total of $667, this category comes in last and finishes out our budget categories. So, if you've been keeping track, this van conversion costs $19,105, plus the purchase price of the van. This does not include the cost of my time and labor. The entire project spanned 4 months and took 250 hours to complete. If I had to put a price tag on my time, it would be well over what I spent on equipment and materials. And if I were to list this van for sale, I would price it accordingly. A well thought out budget will guide you through the twists and turns of your van build journey. It's not just about the numbers, it's about making informed decisions that align with your vision and resources. Keep in mind the importance of flexibility. Unexpected challenges will arise, but with a solid budget and plan, you're equipped to handle whatever comes your way. Stay tuned for upcoming guides where we'll explore many of the build components I've touched on here. Soon to be released videos will include DIY electrical systems, plumbing, wall panels, cabinets, and much more. Also be sure to check out the links below in the description if you would like more information on any of the items mentioned in this video. If you found this budgeting video helpful, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more content, and share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below.